You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Typically, Coach O has his weekly press gathering on Mondays. Monday, of course, is Labor Day, so he handled that on Tuesday, where he sort of unpacked the loss to UCLA and set the stage for the game on Saturday against McNeese. As ugly as it was, they did look at the tape, and here's what they saw.
First of all, our guys played hard. Thought they prepared very well. If you look at the tape, number one, as coaches, we need to put them in a better position to have success. And number two is when they're in the position to have success, they have to execute. Overall, though, I thought our players had a lot of want-to. There was a lot of mistakes made, and most of the mistakes can be fixed by coaching, getting them better. I take the responsibility of myself. We moved on. We watched the tape yesterday. We dealt with it, 24-hour rule, now on to McNeese.
So he said it time and again, we were out-coached, put it on me, all the stuff that you'd expect to hear from Ed Orgeron after a loss like that. So now they look forward. Of note, though, the Tigers were without several players for the UCLA game, and he was asked who they're going to be without for McNeese.
Out for this game is Sony, John Trey, Austin Deckles, Ali Gay, and Cam Wire.
So, Sony Fanu, we didn't see. John Trey Kirkland is the really perplexing one as a veteran guy that you can end up in that issue. I mean, listen, LSU offensively at receiver, they're fine. We obviously know Kayshon Boutte is phenomenal, and even when they pushed the ball to him in the second half and everybody knew he was going to get it, they couldn't stop him. We went for nearly 150 yards on 9 catches and 3 scores. And it's pretty clear you got a loaded gun behind him. You saw Trey Palmer have 7 catches. They targeted Jeray Jenkins a bunch. Brian Thomas had just the 1 reception, but I think clearly he can be more involved in the passing game. Jack Besh had a reception. So there's plenty of options there. It's really disappointing that a veteran leader guy like John Trey Kirkland ends up in that situation. You also heard Ed Orgeron there, though, not mention John Emery, who did not play in the opener, but they would expect to have John Emery back up this week. So what they do in the running game now as they try to get more diverse in the running game, I'm curious to see how it looks with Emery. We'll talk more about that. Now, you heard him also say no Cam Wire, no Austin Deckles. We saw Charles Turner rotate quite liberally at left tackle on Saturday in the Rose Bowl. That's your backup, center playing left tackle. But Orgeron talked about replacing both Wire and Deckles this weekend.
Yeah, guys got to step up. Charles would have to step up. Anthony Bradford would step up. Chason Hines a little bit beat up. He's got to step up. We're going to have to play some young guys. We're going to mix and match and see what's the best thing for our team.
It's obviously not ideal having Charles Turner play left tackle. This is one of the things that when you go back and look at the Dare Rosenthal news, and not that Dare was an all-conference caliber left tackle, but he's a guy who had played a bunch there. And Wire was your backup. So when you remove Rosenthal and Wire steps up, yeah, he had experience at left tackle, but now your backup is inexperienced. And that's where you stand right now, obviously, where Garrett Dellinger did play some this past week, sort of as like a jumbo package tight end, but he's not ready to be in there starting at left tackle. So it looks like Charles Turner will be the guy, and then maybe you see Bradford at tackle on the right side. And that just means, hey, Chason Hines, you got to suck it up and get out there and play. But the real concerning thing, and listen, if there is a benefit to playing a game like this, I mean, I'd obviously rather not play this game. Personally, my feeling on scheduling, I have no desire to see Power 5 teams whip up on FCS opponents. It's a pointless exercise. But if you're going to play 12 and you're going to play an FCS opponent, the benefit is you should be able to get a lot of guys work. I mean, with respect to McNeese, they lost to something called like West Florida or something like that. I don't even know what it was the Argonauts. I don't even know what the hell they are. I didn't know that was a school on it, but they lost last week like 42-36 to a school I never heard of. So you should kick the crap out of McNeese up and down the field and play whoever you want. You're looking for an excuse to get Cardell Thomas in the game. You're looking for an excuse to get Marlon Martinez in the game. You're looking for an excuse to get Marcus Dumerville in the game. Here's your excuse. Put him out there, Let's see if they can sink or swim. Get these guys some experience because it's clear you're going to need it. I mean, we talk about it all the time. The most injury-prone position on the field is offensive line for a very obvious reason. It's large humans playing in a phone booth. You get ankles and knees rolled up. It happens. It's a very physical position. You got to have depth. Here's a chance to build some depth at those positions. Can you play 6, please? Orgeron, staying on the theme of the offensive line, talking about this unit needing time to come together.
Look, man, we won a lot of games with Austin Deckles and Ed Ingram. So those guys, we won a championship with those guys. Those guys started as freshmen in the swamp. So, those guys are good football players, and I believe in them. It's a shame that we lost our left tackle right before the season. I think that hurt us a little bit, and Liam's back. But we got to have more continuity. They just got a new offensive line coach. I'm not making an excuse for them, but it's different for the guys. It's going to take time for them to gel. I believe in Brad. I believe in this offensive line. Some of these young guys are going to have to step up.
And then, of course, who's running behind them is another big part of it as you try to get more diverse in the running game. Ed Orgeron was pretty clear today that they did not have the clamps on Max Johnson. They're not calling quarterback power, but they didn't tell him, hey, don't run. So he has that option. Running back, though, is kind of a big question. You had Ty Davis-Price as your primary back. We saw Josh Williams have a reception in the ball game, but we did not see Corey Kiner. We know Armani Goodwin wasn't there. Neither was John Emery. And Ed Orgeron was asked about an update on the status of John Emery.
It's unknown right now. I will not know until the end of the week. Right now he's unavailable. That could change. I will not know that till Friday.
We will talk plenty as the week goes on about the McNeese game and in particular what we want to see. But for me, this is almost an opportunity to see it play out as if you were playing against air, like what it's supposed to look like. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to McNeese in any way. I hope it doesn't come across that way. I'm sure it probably does. But what I mean is, physically, when you're that much better than your opponent, you should be able to do the things you want to do undeterred. Like when you're trying to run the ball against UCLA and they're pushing the pocket and you can't get a push at all, you can't even see what it's supposed to look like. I'm certain there were instances where Jake Beats probably dialed up a really good play, but the guy missed a block and so it got blown up. Might have been there if you'd executed the block, you didn't do it. This is one of those games where we're going to get a much better sense of what it's supposed to look like against McNeese. I would love to see John Emery out there because the most glaring for me, look, obviously both lines of scrimmage got dominated, but the most glaring weakness that was missing to the offense is your backs only caught 2 passes. Ty Davis-Price caught 1, Josh Williams caught 1. That was it. And the one to Williams went for 17 yards. We know that has to be a part of this game. Are you going to run screens and bubbles and checkdowns? And it was just non-existent on Saturday. And Emery is likely the guy that's going to fill that role. I'm not saying that would have made a difference against UCLA. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying if John Emery's out there, you win the game. But I want to see that is part of this offense and that they can execute it. And so I'd like to see John Emery out there this weekend, if at all possible. One more. Can you play 19, please? Ed Orgeron, just one other newsy item. He was asked about linebacker Jared Small, who was on crutches at the team hotel there in L.A., obviously did not play, and then Jay Ward, who left the game with injury.
Jared will be out for the year. No question about that. I'm not sure about Jay Ward yet. We're going to see it then. He's questionable. I would list him doubtful for this week. We'll see. But I'll know more about Friday.
There's no reason to play Jay Ward. You're going to count on him as you get through the season. If this is a week where you don't need him, don't play him, and you let some of the other guys get some experience. You still got Todd Harris back there. You got Jordan Tolles, who played a bunch. You want to play some of the freshmen like Sage Ryan and Derek Davis? Here's a great chance to do it. So no reason to rush Jay Ward if he's not ready. And just really disappointing on Jared Small. That's a guy Ed Orgeron had said, the former walk-on from Catholic in Baton Rouge, who Ed Orgeron classified as a starter, was going to get an opportunity to play this year. And actually, not just on special teams, but play some linebacker, some meaningful snaps. And that's not going to happen as he's injured and he's done for the year. So certainly unfortunate there. just an early preview of the McNeese State Cowboys of LSU looking ahead to this Saturday's game in Tiger Stadium against McNeese. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.